All right, welcome back to another video, everybody. This is an update video on the Cayman, so welcome. We're going to talk about this car specifically, so service and repairs that I've had to do, market trends, values, and my thoughts on this car because we are officially celebrating the 987's 20-year birthday. Now this is an 07, it was built in March of 2007, but the 987 Caymans started in 06, 7, and 8. So it is a 20-year-old car, 20-year-old design. But this one specifically is not quite 20 years old, it's almost there though. So yeah, 20 years old, that was a long time ago. Okay, so this car, I've had it for exactly 10 years, and in that time it's gone through a few phases. This is the only set of aftermarket wheels I've had on it, but I don't think there's any reason to ever change them again. These are the best wheels, I think, for this car. Besides factory wheels, I don't personally think there's a lot of other wheels that look good on this particular car. I would say second best is going to be Apex wheels. The BBS E88s, I think, look the best, and third best would be any of the factory wheels. I have yet to find any other wheels I think look good on this car. This car has also undergone a full, I had this car fully wrapped in my business wrap last summer 2005. I did unwrap it after 3 years, and it was kind of refreshing to do so. The car got a lot of attention with the wrap, but I really like it now that it's unwrapped. Just to be able to see it with this stance and these wheels in the factory paint, I am very happy with the way this looks. It's meteor gray metallic, it's a great color, tons of flake, and I think it really just looks like a classic shape, classic color, and I'm just happy with its kind of OEM plus aesthetic I've gone for. I've drive this car really hard. There's no weather I haven't driven this car in. I've driven it across country. I drive it up around the Twin Cities all the time. I put hundreds of miles on it at a time through rain and yucky weather, and I just do my best to keep it hand washed. And so far, it is 9.5 out of 10 in my opinion. You can look around this car and have a hard time finding many obvious flaws. There's very minimal scratches or anything in the paint. It's almost perfect, I'd say. Now the front of the car is fully PPF'd, full fender, full hood, full front bumper, full headlight. And then I also did a larger PPF. The factory PPF just has a small strip right here. Now I did this whole chunk, wait a second, right here. I did this whole chunk. If I would do that again, I would probably do this whole thing, or if you really want to spend the money, do this whole fender, because there are just a couple of ultra minor little chips in this part of the fender, so rocks do hit this area. Besides that, condition is very good. I've gone through a lot of windshields just with, I don't know, unlucky driving, I guess, but and currently there is a crack in the windshield. It's out of my view, nice and low, so I haven't replaced it yet, but I believe the going rate for glass on these cars is about $600 to $700. A couple of little things I've left on from the wrap. I had these pieces here wrapped black, and these lower little splitter pieces wrapped black as well. I think that really sets off the front of this car, and in the right light, it makes these grille openings look much bigger and better. Otherwise, underneath here is factory color meteor gray, and the same goes for on the back. I have the slats by the air outlets here for the exhaust wrapped black as well. It just makes it look that much cleaner in my opinion. I'm all about that clean up the factory look, factory plus look, and that's kind of always what I go for with my cars. All right, so let's talk value. This is a 2007 Cayman S. Very few options on this car. It's the base spec, really. There's no sport option. It's got the standard seats. There's no sport chrono. There is no Bose. It really doesn't have a lot of options. It's not full leather dash or anything like that. And despite that, the values of these cars have from what I can see, and I usually look at classic.com as a really good reference for your cars, and I can put that overlay here right now. Some cars, some Caymans have been hitting like, I believe like into the 50 to 60 grand, but those are rare color, low mileage cars. And the low numbers you're gonna see in the probably the high teens. Those are gonna be really high mileage cars with questionable histories. This car, from what I can tell, is still sitting rock steady between $25,000 and $30,000 in value. I paid $26,500 for it 10 years ago. That would have been in 2016. Now I currently have 83,000 miles on this car, and I've put, well, I bought it with 35,000 miles in, so in that amount of time I've put that many miles on here, and the value has remained unchanged according to the market. So that is good for me. And anyone who's looking to buy these cars, as long as you're keeping them maintained, it appears that the values are not going to drop dramatically, and could be a good long-term hold. You never know. And I do wonder if in 20 years these cars will become super valuable. So it's obviously in my best interest to keep it well maintained while still enjoying it. I put about 3,000 miles a year on it. The other thing I wanted to mention was just what can you get in the market for this kind of money, $25,000 to $30,000, that offers more than the Cayman. Now I'm going to argue like there's not many good options. In the Porsche community, almost nothing. You're going to be looking at base spec 996s, some Boxsters as well in the same category, but different manufacturers, I don't know. I think that there are a couple of Corvettes you could maybe get, really a different category of car, but value-wise, I mean, a base C6 you could get for this price. Some BMWs for sure, but those have been statistically more service-heavy cars. So all in all, I think that these are kind of standalone cars in the market at the price point they're at, and if you're still interested, if you've been thinking about one of these for a long time, it's still probably a good option. All right, let's talk about service history on this car. I have done a number of things. Some things are service related, other things are repair related. So let's go through our list. I've done brakes on the car. That was a number of years ago. I do some tracking on this car every year, and now the brakes are ready to be replaced again. So to get brake discs and pads for this car, it will be about $1,200. And I'm gonna get that ordered this year. Probably an updated video on that is coming. Now I do oil changes myself on this car every 3,000 miles. In my last video, I said I usually do them every 5,000 miles. So I have moved that up to every 3,000 miles because that's actually about the number of miles I do each year. 3,000 or at the end of each summer, whichever comes first. I've done coil packs and spark plugs. There was an updated coil pack for these cars from factory, from the manufacturer a few years back, and I put those updated coils in. They're bigger and efficient or whatever. I've done the tie rod inners and outers. They were worn out and clunking. When the last time my transmission was out, it was because I had to replace the clutch and flywheel. It was actually the dual mass flywheel that failed. It locked up and wasn't operating properly, so is making a really awful rattle sound. Now I've replaced that at a local shop and they did a great job. The one thing I regret not doing when the transmission was out was installing a limited slip differential. Next time that transmission comes down, I will be doing a differential because this car desperately needs an LSD. With the open diff it currently has, it drives, I mean, you can start a one tire fire when you're cornering hard pretty easily, unfortunately, in these cars. So LSD to come. I have replaced the AOS, the air oil separator in this car, a very common problem in Porsches. what you know is happening, or what you see happen as a result is, especially upon cold starts, it's going to start billowing smoke out the rear tailpipe. That's just because of oil that's getting into your intake area, and when you start the car, it's burning off that oil, and then it kind of goes away. But the air oil separator is there to capture any residual oil and doesn't let it get into the system. I do brake flushes annually, especially since this car does see the track from time to time. Another thing I've done very recently is I've actually installed the FabSpeed mini cats. Now, for a couple of years after I put in my exhaust system, I have been living with an engine light because the secondary O2 sensors have obviously been reading a lean mixture on those sensors without cats in there. So I put these FabSpeed mini cats in, and so far they have been awesome. They were a very simple install, and you just put your secondary O2s right in there. Then it reads the mixture correctly, and there's no check engine light since now I've had it for a couple hundred miles. Another thing, I have replaced these shift cables. That is another common issue on these cars. They can just get old and snap. Luckily I was left within pushing distance of my house as I was pulling away, and my shift cable snapped, and I got the car back home, but we replaced that. That was another missed opportunity, I think, to replace the factory shift cables with the numeric ones, because I've heard great things about those. The factory shifter is really not bad, but numeric is industry standard, like one of the best. Over the winter, my door latch in the door had failed, so I had to replace that. A little bit of a to-do to get that thing in and out, but the symptom was that the door window always wanted to go back up. So if you when you open the door, the window drops down that ½ inch, but as soon as you release the handle, the window would go back up. So if you close the door, that window is in the up position, which means it would hit on the outside of the trim. What you want to do is to stay down, you close the door, and then it goes up into the groove to make a nice seal. Now, that was a result of a faulty door latch. It is a common issue on Porsches. Thanks to a couple people for pointing that out. As soon as I replaced it, it was a non-issue. It went right back to normal, so that was very good. The cost of these things: brakes, $1,200 that's to come. Oil changes I can do right these days for about $120 myself in just parts. It's oil and filter. Now the filter costs, I believe, are like $50. I do use the factory filters, but the price has gone up a lot in recent years. They used to be like $30. Spark plug coil packs, I don't remember what those all cost. They cost some money. Tie rods, I don't recall, cost some money. Oh, another thing I had done, I had the common issue headliner failure. The glue starts to go bad on the headliners, and your headliner is just going to start to fall down. Now, I took out my headliner myself and brought it to the upholsterer to try to save some costs. And he did it, I think, for less than $500. I chose a beautiful material. He installed it perfectly on the headliner, and then I reinstalled it in the car. I did all that for less than $500. Clutch and flywheel, if I can remember correctly, I think it was like $3,000 for a clutch and flywheel. Air oil separator, I did that myself. That was about $100. The FabSpeed mini cats, now those were kind of expensive. I think they were $350. Door latch failure. Now I remember, what did I pay for that? I did the aftermarket one, not the factory one, because the factory one's like $350. The aftermarket one's like $120. And it took about 2 hours of fiddling around in the door to get that replaced. Shift cables, I think I recall them being about $1,000 to replace. The Porsche dealership did that for me. I think that's everything that's gone wrong on it so far. Otherwise, engine runs strong, no issues. I drive this thing hard. All right, that'll do it for today's video. We thank you for watching. I wanted to make some more content on this car and some fun stuff too, so let's get out on the road. We'll do some driving and create some very good content for you. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you like Caymans, definitely follow me on Instagram, Dynamic Photowerks. I've got these shirts too. If anyone wants a shirt, definitely let me know. I can send one out. And Have a great day.